Hey there, my name is Thomas Manning with the Rundown on Movies and Meet Me the Movies. Recently had the great opportunity to have a conversation with a couple of Oscar nominees this year, director Martin Strange-Hansen and producer Kim Magnusson, who worked on the film On My Mind, which has been nominated in the Best Live Action Short category at the 2022 Academy Awards. Hope you guys enjoy this conversation, and I really appreciated the time that I got to speak with them. Thank you so much for watching. And so, Martin, I'll start out with you. So, you've been involved in various production roles over the years, and looks like a decent amount of time has passed since you last directed a project. So, what was it like jumping back into that role that you haven't taken on in a while?
Um, it was like an old horse coming back in a circus. I've been on set on so many films, so I'm kind of accustomed to it. But for me, it was I think what was the scary part or the hard part now was not the directing. I mean that I know, uh, but this time around, having my own production company as well, suddenly financing and budgeting and all that, which normally I ask Kim to do it, and I was like, shit, man. Sorry. What did I do beforehand when I was only directing?
Yeah. And so, Kim, you've had a very successful career as a producer, stretching back many decades, and you take on multiple projects each year. And this was, I believe, your seventh total Oscar nomination that you got with this film. So, what are the aspects that you look for in the projects that attract you and that have kind of led to so much success for you in getting so much recognition? Like, what is it when whether you're reading a script or just you hear news about a project that might interest you? What is it that kind of inspires you to latch on to that?
I mean, it's a combination. Of course, I like to be involved in good projects. I mean, and I know that's a straight up stupid answer in a way, and everybody will laugh and say, yes, of course you like to get good projects. But I mean, that is my go-to thing. If it starts to that the project has to move me, and then that's one thing, and then the other thing is that that I, the people behind the project, the creatives, if you can say so. I mean, I feel I'm creative as well in a way, but the director, the writer, the actors, things like that, is somebody I need to want to work with, especially in the short film category, because it's so hard to get these short films made in a way. I mean, it's hard to get any project made, but here many times they are what you call it there, you have to do them for free, you have to get friendly friends help you out with equipment and post-production houses and all these kind of things. So you're actually drawing on a lot of credit from people, and to do that you also need to know that you actually this is a great project. I mean, because it is, I mean, even though it's a short film, as it's 20 minutes long and it's not 2 hours long, the process is almost the same. The only thing you're not doing is the amount of shooting days and the amount of editing days, but otherwise you're going through the same thing. So for me, it's actually looking at all those. It was a long answer. I have to do them shorter, but it is really the people behind it and the story. If it moves me and if I cry or whatever is my threshold on what is a good movie. That's what gets me into the projects.
Yeah, and Kim, you talked there about the significance of short films, and I think they have just this really special place in cinema, in the sense that they can take you on this really long, powerful, emotional journey, but in a short amount of time. And I would say it's a comparable experience watching those as it is to a narrative feature film, just other than the fact of the runtime. So, Martin, do you have anything you want to add to that about the importance of short films in the place of cinema?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I genuinely love short films. I've been a part of Odense Film Festival all for many years, also doing selections there. And I mean, I think going into a short film program and you don't know what's coming, and you get these very intense nuggets of really, I mean, stylistically or emotionally, you get so you get thrown around the world in 1.5 hours in a very, and often, yeah, very, in a very intense way. So that's why I myself really enjoy the short film format. But it's also I mean, it is the primary format of film. The first films were short films, and and sometimes it's a good thing to go back and in a way say, well, so how can you tell stuff if you have to be extremely economical? Because you learn as a filmmaker when you do that. It's kind of weird that the notion is that you do your short film, then you do a feature, you don't come back, but you don't do the thing that's the hardest anymore, the short films, and they are the hardest.
Yeah, and with this film in particular, I thought, the lead performance from Rasmus Hammerich, it was essentially what held all the emotional beats together. So I'd love to have you both speak a little bit more about working with him as an actor and what he brought to this role. Martin, I'll let you take that one first.
Yeah. Well, first off, the funny thing is I cast him first as the bar owner, and he said, no, I won't do that. I've done that role so many times. And that got me thinking into a character that wants to sing this song, and because it's the only way he can express those feelings. And in a way, I get even more from that with an actor that has his physique. He looks like he can knock all your teeth out, right? And that giving him that making him fragile like that is very was really great to do. And in terms of working with, I just think, I mean, Rasmus is really, really, really good. And he had a very clear notion of, okay, so where, and at this point, especially in how much do I open up now to the bartender, and how much can I do that? You can't do that until you've sung. He's not a guy that would open up, so he can't do that. And then he has sung the first time, and that suddenly makes him realize something about him, his wife, and then he can open up a little bit, but he won't say the crucial words, because if he does that, it'll become too real for him. Yeah.
And Kim, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
To his role?
Yeah, just talking about working with Rasmus as the lead actor.
No, but I think it's like, I mean, it's like Martin was just saying. I think him pushing for the lead role just gave, I think for him, it was really like, I really need to come out of my old roles. I mean, like Martin has, has casted him as the barman because he had that, and how he just said, no, I can do other stuff. And I think that actually maybe gave us, it lifted himself in a way to do better than one maybe could have expected. And I think it's just some of those small things that is great that he says, no, I want to do this, I want to be the lead. I can do it. I can be the one. And then I just think that I think that it just shows on screen that he is such vulnerable in a way, and still so strong, and still all these things. And, Martin have spoken earlier about also just the thing that how because of his looks, and at the time, I don't know if it was a Corona look or if it was because he was doing something else later, whatever, with the beard and all that. But it also just shows that when he comes in there, we don't know who he is and what's going on with him. And I think that helps to that character. If you had a clean shaven guy that comes in, you're kind of saying, why is he drinking whiskey? Why is he sitting there? And you begin to feel that there must be something wrong with this guy. You just feel like, oh, could he be just some bum that found the money to come in and get drinks now because he finally, just got some money, whatever. I mean, also the way that the bar man, let's see his money first, kind of, in a way, where she's much more trusting in the person sitting in front of her. I mean, there's all these small plays that goes along. And I just think that those maybe hadn't been as what you call it, sensitive or as precise if he had been chosen from the beginning and it would just have been one of his regular roles. So does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah.
Also for you, Martin?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But he did turn it down, and then he made me think. And I thought that was a good idea to actually go for that. But also because then the bar owner could be a small guy, and that suddenly pitched into his. He has a very fragile masculinity in a way, or I mean, having a bar and being jealous when your bartender flirts with customers is not a winning combination. But this is, you can call it his character flaw. He has this thing about wanting respect or wanting authority. And I could give that even more because he was smaller now. Yeah.
And Martin, I also want to talk a little bit more about the visual style and the cinematography. Working with your DP Ian Hansen to get that visual atmosphere right. There was a stark difference in the lighting style and coloring of the scenes in the bar compared to, of course, the scene in the hospital. And just kind of when it shifts in that last like 3-minute scene in the hospital room, it just kind of feels like you're watching a completely different movie. And which is definitely true on a narrative level as well. So love to hear you walk through that process a little bit more of working with Ian Hansen to get that atmosphere right from your standpoint.
Right. Yeah. One of the things is what we wanted this to have in that bar. It's an old kind of place. It's time does not exist in that bar, right? So we wanted that to, in a way, work with us in the lighting as well. So we used old times lights, Brunsten and something like that. I mean, we were talking about the films of Kaurismäki, the Finnish director, who always have these really hard light on characters, and that gives them that makes them stand out. But it also gives them, I mean, you can kind of see everything that's going on beneath, because there's not, if they're not, they're actually suppressing stuff. So in that sense, I wanted that in the bar, having this feeling in there. But with her and in the hospital, I wanted it to have a completely different feeling, because that's where he's actually saying goodbye, and this is where he is locked in the beginning and stuff like that. So that's why we are kind of focusing so much just around him in a almost subdued lighting in a way. So a lot of what do you call it, ambient lighting, where the others were not ambient at all, to give him a more intimate feeling in that scene.
Yeah, definitely. And Kim, I also want to ask you about, regarding your role as a producer, how has that been affected by the changing landscape in the era of COVID? And specifically, how did that impact your role as producer on this film?
I mean, the COVID, I think, if you go really helicopter view, I think that COVID has done both very good things for the industry and very bad things for the industry. I can go into a long talk about that. I think the good thing is that you got a lot of great projects out there that used, that was maybe on the shelf and, that could actually get developed. So I've seen, we're seeing a lot of great projects floating suddenly because people actually had time to go and finish the developing of them. On this one and on other things for me as a producer during COVID, I actually got to do a lot of shorts because you kind of like every time there was a pocket to open something up, you said, oh, I can get a short in there, because you basically just needed to, be able to be together for like a week. If you really narrow it down, like, just a quick a couple of days pre-production where you're all together. Of course, you could have pre-production by yourself or by division, by departments early on, but and then shooting for 4 or 5 days is what is the regular on a short film. And then eventually you can sit by yourself and edit and share links and all that. So it's just those 1 week where you really have to get together that you kind of need to pressure in that. And so we actually, as me as a producer, I actually did, I'm almost embarrassed to say, but we did, I think we did 6 short film that year. I actually had 5 entered into the Academy this year. 2 of them got shortlisted. And thank God we got 1 nominated here with Martin. That was really great. But on this specific one, because of there was really COVID hit, it was at the highest point of COVID. So we had a maximum of 10 people in any given room at any time. So we would exchange the crew. First of all, it made the film have a very small crew to begin with, which I think also helped the film itself. And, because it was just more concentrating. So we kind of would swap people in and out of the rooms in order to be there for the shooting. So we have another producer that worked more hands-on on those production days as a producer / line producer, production manager. In short films, you have a lot of hats on for one person. So I kind of actually kept away for the 4 days of shooting. So Martin and I had talked prior and read script and read talked about the scripts and all that all the way through. And then we, got straight back into it in editing and post and all those kind of things. So of course I was part of also the shooting process, but it was, by phone and all these kind of things, because we needed to get room for everybody who needed to be there, makeup and wardrobe and all that.
And Martin, do you have anything else you want to speak to on that matter?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things about Corona was that we could have, I remember thinking, hey, if you want to shoot in a bar, then this is a perfect time because all bars are closed. So you have like free access to all the bars in Copenhagen. And that was one of my constraints in working with this film, saying, well, we are shooting a film in a bar before Corona opens up again. And I had this story that I had been working on before, but I never knew before why he was singing. And suddenly it struck me here why he was singing.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And that kind of leads perfectly into my next question, which is about how music is such an integral part of this story and just a part of so many people's lives. And I loved the sentiment that that song Always on My Mind was said to, quote, make her soul fly. I just think that's a really, really beautiful thing. So I'm wondering, do each of the two of you have a song that you can personally think to that kind of has a similar effect on you in your life?
Yeah, I have one, but it's in Danish. It's called Du kom med alt, hvad det var dig.
What is it called, Martin?
Du kom med alt, hvad var dig. Roughly translated, you entered my life with everything that's you. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. And it's also a song about saying goodbye and cherishing all the things you've had together. And it actually has become a song I think everybody sings at funerals now. It's from the 80s, but it's very, very good.
Wow. Kim, do you have a song like that for you?
Yeah, I just want to, what is the Danish title, Martin?
Du kom med alt det der var dig.
Okay. Oh, but I also have another Danish one because I have many songs, but there's one which is very close to me, which is from a very, very popular pop star, one of our greatest musicians through life in Denmark, from Kim Magnusson. Martin knows it from him, of course. And I think the title is, I never really know, I think it says, did you see everything? And it's actually that I got to think of that one, Martin, when you said about the funerals, because it was sung at my mom's funeral that sadly was dying. The last time I received an Oscar, she was in the hospital and she never came out. And we sang that, and that means a lot to me. And that's where I get myself and all my kids to cry when we listen to that, because it's very sentimental, but it's actually talking about, it is a death song. So it is like, did you get to see everything you wanted, and did you get to feel everything you wanted in life? Now I'm almost crying because I'm thinking of her, but that because of her, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I do appreciate that. Yeah. And Kim and Martin, it's really been a privilege speaking with both of you today. And I just want to, offer my congratulations to both of you on such a great honor, being nominated for an Oscar for On My Mind. And I wish you all the best of success moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.